Hey everybody, I'm JGSF 1987. I'm a writer and blogger, and to see my latest posts, go to my blog at jgsf1987.com. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make this one as concise as I can because it's in lovely Daly City. It is currently 2 minutes after 1 o'clock in the morning. I know I gotta find a much earlier time of doing these videos, but bear with me for a minute. What I'm going to be watching for tomorrow, or what I'll be watching for, shall we say, actually today, well, a little bit later, when the day actually, quote unquote, starts. But anyway, no. So I'm going to try to keep an eye on what Comey says, or what facts that he's going to bring, other than what the preface was, through the a lot of the news media. We'll see what facts he actually presents, because that'll be pretty key in figuring out, okay, is Trump really doing something that's actually violating the emoluments clause of the Constitution? That could very well be the case. I mean, but we won't know until we have all the facts from the case. So I'm not going to go speculating as to what will end up happening. But I am going to say, though, is that I find that the DNC's behavior, or just the DNC in general, the way they've been acting is absolutely atrocious. They basically sound like a bunch of jackasses who at this point want to try to ram down basically everyone's throat that the only person who is legitimately entitled to the presidency being Hillary Clinton, and they're going to try to field her again, and should they do that in 2020, don't be surprised. We still got a long way to go before we have a viable alternative to whatever Trump and the Republicans try to do. But basically, until the DNC gets its head out of its ass, no one in their right mind is going to give the DNC any kind of power. But that's my biggest concern, is that they're going to try to turn this into basically that. And if they start doing that, it's going to cause nothing but trouble going down the road. I mean, think about it. The fact is that less people consider them in touch with their issues that actually matter in their lives, much more so than the Republicans, and definitely our lovely President Donald Trump. Look, here's my thing. As I've said before, and I'll say it again, and possibly again, and again over these next 3.5 years, that I think that the Trump is an incompetent boob who just says things that are completely, totally outlandish. And I'm not worried about that, because I know about half the outlandish statements he's making are not going to get through Congress. In terms of policy, it's not going to get anywhere. Trump, I'm actually less worried about. There are plenty of checks and balances within the Constitution that can rein him in. It's how the founding fathers designed it. Because they knew something like Trump was going to end up happening. It was a matter of when, not if. But also, I want to remind everybody that although I think this shouldn't be, although I think now for me it would be like sort of being a broken record basically, which is saying that Trump is not the cause of any of this. No, Trump is a byproduct of it. The real fault actually lies with not only the DNC and the RNC largely ignoring what issues actually mattered to everybody over the past, I would say, almost 2 decades, possibly going into 3. So that's one. But we the people also need to share some of the responsibility for taking our eye off the ball with who's representing us in Congress. I mean, we the people need to demand that they be accountable to whatever's affecting us, and that because we the taxpayers pay their salaries, they work for us, and we got to start. We took our eye off the ball for too long, and we're paying for that. Now, I can discuss the entire historical timeline that'll basically prove that, but I'll save it for a different video. The overall point is, wait for what Comey actually presents. That's number one. Number two, wait until Mueller, who is the current special prosecutor, let's wait to see what facts he's able to cobble together. Now, Comey's interview, it's not that he's going to try to shy away from the facts, but he is absolutely not going to be sharing any kind of opinion one way or the other in terms of what he thinks about Trump. Look, he's right for keeping that. Look, he's right for not saying anything about that. Because right now there's an ongoing investigation, and he has some intimate knowledge as to what's going on with this investigation, or at least a limited extent, or a fairly, shall we say, to a fairly good extent, actually. And so he knows from being, from working in the Justice Department for, I don't know, for the past, I would say maybe 2 or 3 decades. I think that's how long he's been in there. I don't know. I mean, I'll have to do a little bit of research on that. But the point is that he knows dang well that if he's going to be testifying before Congress, especially given what's been going on, putting personal opinions in there is not going to be all that helpful, especially when you know that a colleague of his, aka Mueller, is basically conducting an ongoing investigation and about not compromising that. So that's where Comey is right. So that's why I'm saying, number 2, wait for the facts that Comey comes out with, and what it is that's going to be going down the line until we figure out what all the facts are with that. And number 3, let me tell you something. You're going to be hearing, I would say, 90 to 95% of what you're going to be hearing in I would say, most of the mainstream news A lot of it is going to be reflecting what the DNC has been. Is this DNC narrative that, aka, no one has a legitimate right to be president outside of Hillary. So that's so basically you could expect to see a lot of that, and expect to see Hillary, coming out and squawking in one form or another. Don't be surprised. You're going to be hearing a lot of that, especially over these next several weeks or however long it takes. But there's going to be massive speculation about, quote unquote, impeaching Trump. First of all, that's not going to happen. Or if it is going to, or shall we say, should it happen, the chance of that actually taking place is actually pretty low. For a couple of reasons. One, being that to try to impeach a president, I mean, first of all, the Republicans don't want a repeat of what happened with Bill Clinton back in 1998. When they tried doing it and they got nowhere. And because of that, they know damn well what happens when that takes place. But the other thing also is that to get the more mild-mannered, but much more extreme Veep that's going to be sworn in to succeed him, aka Mike Pence. So everybody needs to be careful of what they wish for here. But anyway, that's not likely to, again, like I said, it's not very likely to happen that Trump's going to end up getting impeached, because a lot of the, look, just because they're saying that, oh, well, he was doing, bidding for a bank that he owed some money to, and this bank also was a front for Russian elites to be engaging in money laundering. First of all, one has nothing to do with the other. There's going to be a lot of that coming through here. But like I said, don't take it in with a grain of salt, because you know that there's some kind of back agenda that they're not even bothering to hide at this point. So, like I said, don't be surprised by anything about what you hear, see, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Just take a lot of it with a grain of salt, because most of what you're going to be listening to is a bunch of gossip. So, like I said, don't be surprised. Anyway, I'm Nick Later. This is JDSF 1987, and I am out of here.